Hello and welcome. I've been wanting to do this, thinking very long through, and I finally decided and deliver you my Marvel Cinematic Universe movie rankings of all time. Now, these are 24 films. 23 films from Phase 1, 2, 3. 24th one is Black Widow. That is a Phase 4 movie, but I consider that more Phase 3.5. The reason I put that in because in the MCU timeline, it sets during Phase 3. Bottom line, this was brutally tough to rank because there are a lot. We all love Marvel movies. There are going to be agreements and disagreements in terms of which movies should be ranked at the bottom or towards the top. I did not rank these films not just due to my favorites, but also thought through the best quality value of each films with fair and logical reasonings. So very excited to deliver the rankings. Let's get it going and begin the rankings, starting with number 24. The Incredible Hulk. Now, in many consensus, this is the worst MCU movies of all time, and rightfully should be. Besides the action sequences, less memorable storyline was so light and bad, forgettable casts, and this one should be ranked at the bottom, and rightfully should be. And I got at 24. There's nothing much to say other than this was not a good one. This should be at the bottom. Spiderman Homecoming. Would love to rank this higher, but this was too much fun to my likings because it was corny, childish at times, too much fun. I thought Peter Parker was trying too hard, bro, irresponsible, and I got to a point it was out of control. It's not on Tom Holland. Tom Holland, one of the finest young actors in Hollywood. He played well. I get it. He was juggling between his life and being Spider-Man, making an effort to do his best. That's where Tony Stark came into play, being a tough love mentor. That's where he learned his lesson and received his omission. So he was trying too hard, man. Washington Monument action part was pretty solid. Sweating scene. I liked Michael Keaton playing the flying vulture, serial high-tech villain. He was good. The last action sequence was high flying blast where Peter made his case by stopping Vulture and proved himself very worthy. Overall, would have ranked this higher, but not quite to me. But still entertaining. Doctor Strange. This one, I like it. However, not much of a fan of the mystic, magician, and arts type of. Personally, it's unique, different. Thought it was good. It has some humors, although some of the humor parts were a bit overrated. It didn't quite get me. The cast are very good. Benedict Cumberbatch, Tilda Swinton, Rachel McAdams. The glaring thing that got me is the fight in the mirror dimension of New York. It looked meant to be mind-bended, but I thought that was too much. It almost like the copy of the Inception where they're making flipping buildings, upside down, all those stuff. It was so unnatural and made it over the top, very. The time loop scene where Strange dealt with Dormammu, thought that was too repetitive. And I get it, that was the whole purpose of the Time Stone. This was pretty fine and solid story overall, but revisiting it, little tangled, but gettable.
Walk away from that, you son of
Iron Man 3. Now, this was more of a joke and a nonsense than the movie was actually good. Tony was not the same from the previous first two films. He was more of a party guy, luxurious. In this one, he was more of in a limbo. His personality was kind of shot. Then, another thing is, they incorporate all the nonsense into this movie. Like, the terrorist group known as the Mandarin, they essentially used this actor as the lead guy. Killian's tactic was so awful. If you're gonna attack somebody, go attack Tony. Go attack him, not go after Pepper. And at the end,
I am the Mandarin!
are you serious? It is a complete joke. How come you didn't say you were the Mandarin from, like, maybe in the middle portions of the movie? Where you could have had a better turn or event or intrigue. Instead, you say at the end and basically get killed the next thing, you know. And I'm gonna tell you, the action sequence in the Air Force One during that sequence was good. The whole Extremis, I thought that was so fierily intense. The villains, you will see, but gotta tell you, this was a whole clown show. This was a clown show. I could rank this lower in the bottom, but I got him at 21 because I love Tony Stark and Iron Man. But this was a whole lot of mess. Thor. This one is good, satisfactory. In my case, it's a little bit lukewarm and average feel to it because Thor, powerful but inexperienced, reckless and arrogant warrior god, made a foolish self-inflicted wound mistake by attacking the Frost Giant's icy planet. As a result, receives a banishment from Odin as a punishment and forced to live with the humans. The scenario is more comparable to Spiderman Homecoming, like Peter being reckless, lesson learned. Same kind of thing for Thor. Learns this lesson and responsibility as trying to be the future king and what it takes to be a true hero. So this is one of those lesson learned type of story. It's good. Cast are terrific. One of my best favorites: Natalie Portman, Tom Hiddleston, Rene Russo, Anthony Hopkins as Odin. Really good, really good. I love when Thor got his power back after enduring all those tough times on Earth and mistakes, and this was rock solid. But the quality of being the best is not that much. If you could look at the other MCU films, there's a lot of MCU films that is better than this one. So I ranked it in this spot. But this one is still good. Still good.
Hi, I'm Scott.
Did he just say, hi, I'm Scott?
So who the hell are you? I'm Ant-Man. Ant-Man? What, you haven't heard of me?
Ant-Man. This is one of those same type of films that the quality of the film is not at the best, or should I say it at the top, more right here in my rankings, but very clever, funny, very humorous throughout. Paul Rudd playing Ant-Man, Scott Lang, comedic actor he is, he gives you laughs, really good stuff. Action sequence good. I like the scene when he meets Sam Wilson, the Falcon, at the Avengers facility in upstate New York. I thought that part was funny. The action sequence was very good. Michael Douglas was pretty good. T.I., Michael Pena. Very, very rock solid. Very smart as well. But quality is not toward at the best, so I ranked it here. But this was very enjoyable and entertaining and fun watch.
There's only one path to peace. The Avengers' extinction.
Age of Ultron. Now, I don't know, a lot of people probably critique better, but for me, I'm kind of like so down on this one. Yes, they introduced new heroes, Wanda, Quicksilver, Vision, action sequence overall pretty good. Hong Kong scene, Hulk against Hulkbuster, the Battle of Sokovia. All in all, it was pretty good, but like, it just didn't quite have the great impact. Even when they had the spectacular moment, it didn't like quite. It was good, but like just like that. Wow, that was amazing. That kind of type of impact. Mainly because of Ultron, because he was so indirecting all over the place. instead of trying to kill an Avenger and say he wanted them extinct, killing Strucker, getting all those vibraniums, he was like just so indirect. What was his intent? His intent was so unknown. Then all of a sudden was a goal of destruction. He just like, even he was the villain, he was not that such a like a hated, like, oh, I hate this dude type kind of villain. He just think he didn't give me this great impression as a being outstanding villain. Felt somewhat of a blasé. But overall, this was good, but I just didn't have the quite spectacularness into this one. It was, yeah, that's the reason why I ranked this very low. I'm very down on Avengers Age of Ultron.
Anyone else?
Thor: The Dark World. Now, I'm favorable of this film much more. Solid improvement from the previous Thor movie. Not exponential. The previous one's more of an inner housekeeping type of movie, and this one is more of an intergalactic convergence conflict where threat to the 9 realms. Of course, Thor improved from the previous one a lot more, developed into a better and established warrior god and Avenger. Jane had a bigger role, of course, absorbed the ether, basically a reality stone. Loki continues to be the god of mischief, Odin, and of course the villains were good. The Dark Elves, Malekith, they're great. I thought I liked them. And action sequences, I like the Dark Elves attacking Asgard more than the last sequence during the convergence at the Greenwich, England. So I'm actually like this film much more than Thor and Ragnarok, and I will have to rank this higher, but I thought about the quality of being, is this the best MCU of all time or towards the top? It is not, but very favorable in this one. I really like this one. AntMan Wasp. This one is very, very action-packed. Improvements from the previous Ant-Man. Very funny throughout. Very enjoyable to watch. And now this time, Hope Van Dyne, played by Evangeline Lilly. She is Wasp, like the Wasp suit with wings. It's nice to see that. I liked all the text they use in Ant-Man throughout. I just love it. The shrinking tech and everything. I just love it. Villains were like kind of funny, but in terms of like Ant-Man, this was more of like a, like a more funny villains, not like a so impactful villains in this one. Also, Ghost, who can phase through objects. That was very interesting, unique, different, and a disturbing villain against Scott, Hope, and Hank throughout. So I actually love this one, but in terms of quality, it's not towards the best because while this event, the plot is happening, Infinity War is happening on the other side, the more bigger things. So that's why in terms of, this was not part of the bigger things, but in terms of like local, like community wise, it was more like that kind of feel to it. So Ant-Man Wasp, very fine sequel, very humorous as well. Far From Home, really like this one. Fun, fast-paced film, and it feels like the opening to the new era of Marvel Cinematic Universe because this one takes place after the events of Endgame. The focal point set on Peter Parker go on a school trip in Europe. The vacation was hijacked by Nick Fury in order to help uncover the mystery and new threats to the world. Also feeling the stress, heavy weight, and huge void left by Iron Man. Of course, juggling between his life and everything. Mistakes came along the way. Edith's glass left by Tony for him gave it to Quentin Beck, who turned out to be a fraud. Mysterio lost the first fight with all of his tricks. And I love the moment. Probably my favorite moment is the conversation, interaction he had between him and Happy, where they discussed how Peter can honor the legacy left by Tony, as hard as it is, and how he can step up to honor his legacy. Well, he stepped up big time, saved his friends, facing Mysterio, overcame all of his tricks, and to defeat him, thought he made his signature stand right there. I'm a big favor of this particular one. Fantastic action sequences throughout, especially in London, far from home. I truly hold very well on this one. And yeah, the post-credit scenes were like, woo! Woo! Captain America, the first Avenger. I admire this one. Sets during World War II. Has that good old school nostalgia feel to it. A lot of explosive, patriotism, adventure, great. And Steve Rogers, so underdog. Trying to serve for his country, but he can because he's short and everything. And receive a opportunity of his lifetime by getting the super soldier serum and transforming to Captain America in an effort to fight against Nazi Germany, against Red Skull, Johann Schmidt, to take down Hydra. I thought the connection between him and Peggy is the right fit for Steve, and it's really nice. Tom Lee Jones, I really like Tom Lee Jones in this one. Well, a lot of explosive action, like the prison break right there where Steve saves the comrades there, and throughout a lot of explosive action. The end was kind of like such a little, like, you feel it because he's going down and crash to save save everybody, save New York, and this was great. But I thought the next two Captain America are much superior to this one, so that's why I ranked it here. But this one is great.
Can we put the bickering on hold until after we survive this massive space battle?
More incoming! Good! I want to kill some guys!
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Very fun. Thrills, laughs, great tunes throughout that fits the description of the moment of each scene. But this one's on the lesser side because it's Baby Groot, not Groot, and Yondu was still funny, but not the same compared to the previous one. And the whole dealing with Ego, played by Kurt Russell, I thought was too long extended. And of course, his evil, like an awful plan, and what he done to Quill's mom. I mean, putting the tumor on her brains, like, that was awful. How can you do that? But still, this one's a lot of fun. You still have the usual, like, butt-headed arguments among Quill, Gamora, Nebula, Drax, Rocket. Still fun, a lot of fun, a lot of good thrills, action throughout. I like the beginning of when the Guardians getting chased by the Sovereign race, and of course at the final battle at the Eagle's brain nest. That part very fun. I like the music, the chain that fits the description of when Quill pushed Ego over there. That music was so terrific. It's one of the best scenes in the MCU. It's just really fitting. But this one is so fun, enjoyable, laughs. But compared to the first one, I think this one's on the lesser side. But I still like it. Captain Marvel. I really love this one. One of my favorite MCUs of all time. Strong female superhero story. Brie Larson was so perfect for this role, playing Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. Get to see the young Nick Fury before the eye patch. Samuel L. Jackson, very good. Get to see the young Phil Coulson, nice. And Goose, the cat, turns to be Flurkin. High, further, faster, octane action sequences. And also, good 90s feel to it. Blockbuster, just a great feel. And I love how Carol She was kind of like, you know, her power was seared. She doesn't know who she is, and finally get to know herself and what she's capable of. And once she was set free, and her power, when she let it go, she got all her powers back when she turned into binary mode. That was so refreshing, glowing, so strong to see that. And I really love this one. Now, originally had this on the top 10, but a couple of films kind of a little overpassed in a few weeks ago, so I had this just outside of top 10, but this one is worthy of top 10 personally, and I really love this one. Iron Man 2. Now, not in terms of rankings, but in terms of my favorites, Iron Man 2 is one of my top 5 favorite MCU films of all time. I thought it was so much funnier than I remembered of. Tony, now world knows that he's Iron Man. He's facing pressure from the government, public spectacles, and facing a new villain, Whiplash, Ivan Venkov, played by Mickey Rourke. And all the things going on, Tony was still being Tony. And so a lot of laughs, billionaire, party guy. He was so funny. Throughout the movie, it's so funny. Action sequence is good. Beginning, the Monaco racetrack scene. And of course, the big mayhem at Fresh Meadows Stark Expo. Very good. And probably the most thing that eye-opening was first appearance of Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. She was eye-opening. She was sexy, acrobatic when she took down all the security guards at the Hammer Industry. And funny thing was, at the end of the result, she took out all the security guards while Happy only could get one. I thought that was a funny result. And one thing that probably eye-opening is what Don Cheadle replaced Terrence Howard as Rhodey, and at that moment it was like Don Cheadle does not look good fitting, but it got used to it as he appeared in more MCU films. So this is one of my favorite Marvel movies of all time. Very funny, action, fun, blast.
Okay, you got a plan, or shall I just stay duck and cover?
My plan was to drive us away.
Well, your plan sucks.
Black Widow. This has made the top 10. Originally, I ranked it higher at first, but after the second viewing, I ranked it right here, but made the top 10. Very pleasing watch. Thankful for what Scarlett Johansson has done playing Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow throughout these years in MCU. Very, very thankful. And this one set right after Captain America Civil War, where Natasha has to face her darker part of her past and facing the conspiracy, way she was before an Avenger and even S.H.I.E.L.D. This was an excellent watch. Characters were good. I thought Yelena, played by Florence Pugh, she was actually pretty funny in this one. A lot of humor throughout. And action sequence is so top-notch, high octane. Especially I love the prison break scene where Nat and Yelena break out. Alexei, Red Guardian, that part was gigantic. Great to see Rachel Weisz in a blockbuster movie in a very long time. Of course, the Taskmaster. Basically, that was Captain America plus Hawkeye plus Black Panther plus Widow. This feel like watching the passing of the torch as well, because and how you appreciate of what Natasha and her legacy was about, and feel like a little bit of eulogy to it as well. But I'm very thankful for this film, for what Scarlett Johansson has done in Marvel movies. Wish this was released during Phase 3. That would have been a bombastic, but still, this was excellent. Had a good family reunion to it, and very pleasing watch. Ragnarok. Funniest Thor movie, exponentially improved from the previous two. Hela, the goddess of death, ruthless, played by Kate Blanchett, perfect fitting for that particular villain. Love the fact they mixed in Bruce Banner, Hulk, the gladiator battle between him and Thor. I thought that was funny, excellent, and the fact that Thor was at the biggest alpha and what he needed to be because he was in a race against time, got thrown to the other side of the universe, and trying to prevent Ragnarok, the end of all Asgardian civilization, at the hands of Hela. He was very, very big time in this one. Low-key, yeah, still the villain type of, but key element, important, and bring in Valkyrie as well. This was a lot of fun, tons of fun, action throughout, and I love the message from Odin to Thor when battling against Hela, because you don't need the hammer to illuminate your power, and that was an important message right there. This one's a ton of fun, great. The quality of this movie is so top notch. I thought deservingly towards the top.
What do we do, Cap?
We fight.
Captain America Civil War. This one is very, very intense. The whole awful, inhuman plan by Zemo, probably the most contentious MCU films of all. Largely, this is about government wants to hold the Avengers accountable after the destruction of New York, Washington, D.C., Sokovia, and the latest from this one, the bombing at Lagos that killed the Wakanda humanitarian workers. That's why they designed the Sokovia Accords to regulate all superhuman activity. And next, where the divide emerges internally from the Avengers, Team Iron Man. Tony agrees with the Accords because after what he has done to create Ultron and the destruction of Sokovia, he felt very responsible for the team. On the other side, Team Cap, Steve has more faith in his judgment, and the heroes should have their freedom to operate more than being supervised by the government. And the glaring point as daylight is Tony and Steve. They don't like each other, and you can see it from the previous films, and they hate their guts, and two polar opposite views. They're almost like they're rivals, and it gets really bad after the bombing at the Venus conference that killed King T'Chaka, and more friction emerged among the heroes. Sam, Nat, Rhodey, T'Challa, Black Panther. Things go more worse because Bucky, the Winter Soldier, is the who behind the bombing, and that's what we thought. And then that was a tipping point where the heroes choose their sides. Team Iron Man versus Team Cap, battle at the airport, which was very, very fierce and intense. And the breaking point of the moment was at Siberia towards the end, where finally Tony learned that Bucky, who's the one, murdered his parents, and which was, oh my goodness, you couldn't believe it or imagine. And even Steve knew he did it. He believed that it wasn't him because he was brainwashed by Hydra. And the battle at the end, it was so cruel, very testy, bitter, and because it was so harsh, very hurtful, the things have come to this. And ultimately the end was Avengers broke up. This one is so antagonistic, intense, but also entertaining with quite a lot of intensity and difficulties come on along the way as well. But this was very, very intense.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by.
Star-Lord.
Who?
Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Guardians of the Galaxy. This is one of the Marvel's great sci-fi adventure. Has everything. Laughs, action, very lively, charm as well. Of course, great music throughout the course of the duration that fits the description of each moment. This one is awesome, very lively. I love this one. The fact that these characters, Quill, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, and Groot, these misfits had to come together to save the galaxy, stop Ronan the Accuser from destroying Xandar, the whole orb, which was the Power Stone. This one has it all. I really love this one. This one was terrific. That's why this one is a lot more better. Way better, and so much fun. So much fun. Yandu was excellent in this one. He was so hilarious in this one. I really love this one. And also Charm at the end, where Quill had the dance off bro, that scene. And for Ronan, that was so I mean, it can be silly, but actually it's so enjoyable. It's just great. I love this one, and had it on a top 10 because this one has it all. This one has it all, everything. Just enjoyable to watch, and I got it right here.
Let's kill him properly this time.
Avengers Endgame. This one just missed the top 5, but in many consensus, this one is top 5 worthy for sure. Some of the cons were Thor was messed up and obese. Movie was long with 3 hours. More drama over action. I prefer more action over drama. The time traveling in this one was a little iffy. I was expecting Captain Marvel to have a bigger role in this one. Didn't get it. Kind of disappointed in that one. She arrived at the end for the epic final battle scene. That's about it. So that kind of let me down. But other than that, mostly this one is such a big sentimental gift to all the MCU fans. You are appreciated for this one and all the movies lead up to this one. And this one, after the devastating events of Infinity War, all the remaining heroes have to come together one last time to bring back all the heroes and people that were lost. And this one's a conclusion to the epic journey. And I love the fact they honored the original 6 Avengers heroes well. Even with more drama, had good dialogues, interactions, and humorous moments. Professor Hulk at the diner scene, or like New Asgard, Thor playing video games, whatever that part. And I love the moment when Tony and Steve came to truce after all those years, antagonizing each other. That was a healing moment. Good reminiscent moments when the heroes went back in time to collect all the stones. Thor met his mother, Frigga. That was an affecting moment because Frigga was killed during Thor the Dark World, so that was warming. When Tony met his dad, Howard, that was very touching moment. To first tears of the moment, Natasha dying and Boromir sacrificed her life for the team in order to get the Soul Stone. You fell for it. Tears of flying to Thanos and his army attacking the Avengers facility. Moving on to the Avengers Big Three: Thor, Cap, Iron Man facing Thanos. Before that furious fight, Thanos is worst. Disgusting, can't stand him. He's the worst. And the moment when Cap lifted Thor's hammer, that was so exciting and riveting moment. To when all the heroes came back to life, that was such a glorious, marvelous, amazing scene. I thought that was over the top, but you know what? Since this is the last one, go out with the bang. Didn't care. That was such an amazing scene. The whole battle was so extraordinary, epic battle, and all-timer. Finally, when Tony snapped his fingers with his Mark 85 suit, wipe up all the bad guys including Thanos, and him dying, you couldn't hold the tears. That's how it was. This whole thing, it had it all. It's such an emotional, epic gift to all the MCU fans. This one is great, had an end of the era feel to it as well, but this is an all-timer, great one for all the MCU fans. And I'm appreciative for this one. The Avengers. Now, this one is a terrific classic, and it feels like it's the original, the first one, the original Avengers heroes: Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye. I love this one. I love I'm favorable in this one. Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury looks so iconic and great. He was on full force to get these 6 personalities of heroes, pull it together, and save the world from brink of a disaster. From the opening prologue scene, the title, I thought that was top-notch beginning to start. Loki was such a badass villain in this one, and there were some moments that you could see the personalities were tangling among the heroes. Iron Man, Tony, new school party boy, kind of like show off billionaire guy. Steve was more like an old school militarized kind of like order first kind of guy. Thor was like kind of powerful, arrogant, like kind of bang and burn, macho kind of personality. Bruce was like trying to stay being angry, intelligent, and scientific. Natasha was like kind of shadowy, deceptive personality. Hawkeye was the one. Clint was like kind of like a little bit separated because he was basically was mind controlled for the whole time by Loki. And throughout the scene, there's some action, just great moments. The laugh out moment. I love when Iron Man showed up with the AC/DC music, then like arrest Loki at the first time. This one is the first great one. This one is the great one, the New York battle, and it was such a epic destruction and everything, on and on and on. But this one is such a first great one. I love this one so much more because this was the first one. I feel like this was the original. Everything was great. Coulson dying was so heartbreaking because Coulson was the type of guy who people loves him. There's nothing bad to say about him. See, that was heartbreaking part, but overall, this one is such a first terrific one. Just terrific. Black Panther. Global phenomenon, extraordinary story, first black superhero standalone movie. The whole thing was marvelous. I love how they described all the African culture with all the great scenes, landscapes, music, just so terrific. Cinematography, action sequence was so great from the Hong Kong scene toward the end. So futuristic, advanced. Love all the high advanced text they have and all the vibraniums. This one was so great. Music, Pray For Me, all the stars, and all the performances were so great. I thought Shuri was so funny, underrated, and Michael B. Jordan, who played Eric Stevens, Killmonger, violent, rage, personality. I thought he played so well, and of course, can't forget about the late Chadwick Boseman. God rest his soul. He played T'Challa, Black Panther, better than anybody else could do. He was that perfect for that role. His body of work cannot be denied. That's how great he played this character. He was so great. It was so intense when Eric T'Challa battled for the first time for that King throne room part. T'Challa dying to coming back, and he coming back, he said like,
What's up? I never yielded! And as you can see, I am not dead!
That was so chilling because you can't feel it. You couldn't believe he's gone. He's passed away. It was that so chilling, and it was that so emotional at that part. The end scene was so great. This one was so extraordinary. The fact that this one was nominated for 7 Oscars and won 3 of them, and nominated for Best Picture, shows you that this one has so much depth, diverse, and such a masterful Marvel movie this one was. And this one was so excellent and extraordinary Marvel movies of all. I hold this one very dearly because this is the first one, the beginning of a new era MCU, the ultimate beginning, great action, style, laughs. There's some ifs, but that's who Tony Stark is. Billionaire, drama guy, stylish, show off, but also has his own flaws, sarcastic as well, and that's how he built his way out of that cave to become Iron Man. I love this one. I love Robert Downey Jr. He was the guy to play Tony Stark, Iron Man. The cast is good, but disappointing outcome from this one is Terrence Howard, who played Colonel James Rose. He dropped out after this one. I thought he was the guy to like play that role, but I don't know why he dropped out. Very disappointed on that part. Gwyneth Paltrow is good. Jeff Bridges, the director. Jon Favreau, who also played Happy Hogan. All fantastic, just great action sequences, laughs throughout. I love all the Tony's technologies he had at his residence. Very cool, just really stylish, just great action. Tony's suit when you become Iron Man, just so cool. I love it. I hold this valuable more than the Iron Man 2 and 3, but in terms of my favorite, it's Iron Man 2, but this was the first one, so I hold value on that part. That's why I put it right here. And Tony, Iron Man, my favorite superhero character of all.
He brought back! 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 He brought back!
Avengers Infinity War. This one is probably the best Avengers movie over Endgame, because Endgame has more drama. This one is non-stop epic action from start to finish, and this one is such a probably the top 5 grand cinematic shockers of the century. This one is just edge of your seat, engaging, non-stop, you just can't miss type of Marvel movie. I love how all the heroes have their spotlights and everything, probably more focused on the original Avengers in my opinion. And probably disappointed part was I wish Clint involved in this one. I wish he was in this one. He wasn't. He was total zero. But overall, the Avengers and all the heroes have fought to up to this moment come to this one big moment, one big thing. And this is the first movie that finally we get to see the villainous, hated Thanos reveal himself and his quest to collect all the 6 Infinity Stones. And he is really hateable. Finally get to see him. Now, you only get to see him in the post-credits scene, the previous couple of films, or in the Guardians of the Galaxy, whatnot. This is the first one we get to see him just go off. Thanos, you just can't stand him. Can't stand him. Hate him. He showed his tears when Thor out Gamora. That was just awful, awful. You can't stand it. That was disgusting. And overall, you just can't stand him. And throughout the movie, just action is just so epic. Laughs on the way, especially on when they had the Guardians of the Galaxy scene at the beginning, or when the Guardians meet the Avengers and Titan. Sequence of Grey, Battle Wakanda, the Avengers and the Guardians battle Thanos in Titan. Just so can't miss. This is the one film is like feel like it was watching Game 7 over any sports, like Game 7 of the World Series or NBA Finals. It had that intensity, and at the end was just shocking, devastating, unimaginable outcome. You couldn't believe it. And this one is such a shocking, strong Marvel epic. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I thought the quality and the scale of this film was so huge. Love the storyline, the focal points, particularly on Steve Rogers, who is old school and trying to adjust to the new world. Love all the cast who play those characters. Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Robert Redford, Sebastian Stan as the brainwashed Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, and the new hero, Sam Wilson, the Falcon, played by Anthony Mackie, and then of course Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. I thought this was heavy, grand slam, action, mayhem, a lot of tremendous sequences, and also this one was very dark, shadowy, and had that conspiracy feel to it as well, because you wouldn't have thought this whole time S.H.I.E.L.D. was Hydra. Hydra was a parasite inside S.H.I.E.L.D. and they were manipulating all the decision behind S.H.I.E.L.D. The action scene from Nick Fury getting ambushed at DC, Cap escaping the S.H.I.E.L.D. building, on and on and on. The downtown chase scene, and of course at the end at the helicarrier, though that was so epic, just destructive, mayhem. That was so gigantic. Overall, this one was so tremendous, and of course between Steve and Bucky, the first battle and the end was so intense, combative, thrilling fight between those two. And I love the fact that Steve is still old school and have that great judgmental faith, because he believed in his old friend Bucky, that is still in him. We know he was brainwashed by Hydra and he still believing in, and I love that, his pure faithful personality. And this one was so great, just some epic, just gigantic suspense, twist, storyline, just everything was great. Cast were tremendous, the scale was so largely big, timely, intense, and on and on and on. And this one, I have it number 1. So there you have it. That was my Marvel Cinematic Universe movie rankings of all time. Put a lot of time, work, investigation, and effort to this one. A lot of variables, some extraordinary difficult choices to make in order to rank these movies. But I really enjoyed it, even there were a lot, but I really enjoyed it. I thought I'd done pretty well. The movies that I ranked on the top 10, maybe could expand it to 12 in terms of like quality, value, and superiority of each films. I thought I'd done pretty well. In terms of controversial part, Endgame not in the top 5. If I had to put Endgame in the top 5, just switch between Black Panther and Endgame. Endgame top 4, number 4, and Black Panther to number 6. In terms of final rankings, these are the rankings, and these are ours. And what do you think about it? I would like, please leave your comment. What do you think about the rankings? What's your thoughts? What do you agree and disagree? What should be in the top or in the bottom? Everything. Welcome all your thoughts, and please leave your comments below. Thank you for watching this one. I really enjoyed doing this rankings, and gotta tell you, Marvel movies not gonna be the same. The phase 1, 2, 3 are the best time of Marvel Cinematic Universe, and well, let's see how the Marvel movies go from here on out. And yes, I really enjoyed doing this rankings. I really enjoyed doing this one. Thank you for watching this one. Please leave your comments and everything. I'll read your thoughts and react to it. And thank you for watching this one. And I'll see you again, once again, hopefully. And goodbye.
Assemble.